set up the prospect of a criminal trial for the President of the United States' son, just as he is trying to make his case to Americans that he deserves another 4 years. The White House has said repeatedly that it has no involvement in this case. The president has repeatedly said that it is up to the Justice Department, that he has not engaged with them directly in any form as it relates to this case as well. And they also note, of course, that President Biden left David Weiss, that Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Delaware, to lead this investigation. But you can't underscore how difficult this is going to be for the Biden family. President Biden, with one surviving son after his son Beau Biden died in 2015 of brain cancer, has been so worried about his son Hunter because of his addiction with alcohol and drugs in the past, something that he has not fully recovered from right now. It still remains a real concern. I think for the President of the United States, this has the potential to have a toll on him. There had been a sense of hopefulness that this case would have been resolved with that plea deal, Lester, that we had been so focused on in the past couple months. Of course, when that dissolved, obviously it did take a toll, we are told, on the president and those around him, with the understanding that this had the potential to go to where it has now gone today, an indictment from the U.S. attorney. Lester.
All right, Peter, thank you. Hallie Jackson is NBC News' a senior Washington correspondent. Let's discuss the politics of this. Hunter is a private citizen. This will be a political flashpoint. Would you expect the president will feel compelled or pressure at some point to talk about this?
Likely, Lester, simply because that is the way that this has gone through the years now that Hunter Biden has been in the political spotlight. The president is pressed about it. He has consistently, as Peter laid out, said that he believes in his son, that he is proud of his son. This will no doubt intensify the questions for the president as he is on his way to an event, or about to be on his way to an event in Maryland. You look at, and Peter so capably laid out the personal impact of this on the president. There is a political impact, too. And in a word, Lester, it is partisan, because we see deep divisions when voters talk about how they see the issue of Hunter Biden's business dealings and undoubtedly this indictment as well. In fact, a new poll out just today from the Associated Press, obviously taken before this indictment dropped, suggested that while about half of Americans say they have little or no confidence that the DOJ has handled this investigation well, it is a stark divide among Republicans versus Democrats. 66% of Republicans are concerned about any relationship that Joe Biden may have to what his son has done. Only 7% of Democrats. Those numbers, Lester, are not surprising when you talk with voters, when you talk to Americans about how they see the Hunter Biden issue. It depends on what they watch, what they consume, how politically engaged they are, and what side of the aisle they're on, because we know that there has been so much attention on Hunter Biden from the Republican side of the aisle, specifically in the House of Representatives, underscored very directly, Lester, by the impeachment inquiry that was opened just this week.
All right, Hallie, thanks to Laura Jarrett. Let me ask you about other potential legal exposure. What are we looking at out there?
Well, it's interesting. You know, obviously, as Hallie laid out, a lot of Republicans have been skeptical of David Weiss, the special counsel here. And so I think a lot of people are going to be saying, is this it? Is this all he has? They have sort of been very upset that one of the more serious felonies that he could have potentially been facing, that one already expired on tax charges. Now, there are some that are still available out there. He doesn't have to necessarily bring those, but he does have to bring them again within the statute of limitations
This doesn't mean he's finished then.
Well, we just don't know. And I think that's the big question. Again, he can file charges anywhere within the entire United States. So he could still file charges in California separate from this indictment. He could always do a superseding indictment with this if he gets new information and the grand jury decides to develop the facts more. We just don't know, I think. But if this is all that there is, you can imagine for some Republicans that have been very skeptical and making a lot of noise about Hunter Biden's business dealings, this will not satisfy them, given how cabined and how narrow the charges are here.
And Danny, how strong or how serious a case is this, and what would you likely expect from a defense?
This is a very serious charge, and it carries serious penalties. And because the elements are really that somebody was a habitual addict of a stimulant or a narcotic, you might expect the defense to be something on the order of, well, that wasn't me. I wasn't that person at that time. And of course, the government will likely introduce evidence, say, from Hunter's book or other evidence that they have that maybe has been reported that, in fact, he was in violation of that statute. But that subsection, the idea that somebody is an addict, really leaves open a lot for definition. So that's why it's a statute, a subsection, I say, that is not very often brought. So it'll be very interesting to see how he defends this case should he choose to proceed to trial.
All right, Danny. Thanks, Laura, as well. That concludes this NBC News special report. We'll have much more ahead on our streaming network, NBC News Now. And tonight on NBC Nightly News, I'm Lester Holt. Thank you for watching and good day.